Okay. Um, can you guys please let me know if I'm audible? If I'm audible, please comment in the channel. Okay, cool. Hello, Muttarasan. Hello, Achana. Nice. We'll wait for a few more minutes, and then maybe we can start. Yeah. So this is my first live session for the channel. Let's see how it goes. Um, Hi, Batista. Oh, we have one question. Yeah, we'll talk about the questions in few minutes, Batista. Yeah. And while we are waiting, I just thought of introducing myself. I'm Prasanna. I'm working as a DevOps engineer for the past 6 years now. And before that, I was working as a developer for nearly um, 10 years. So totally, it's like 15 years of software experience now. And I played various roles, right from junior developer, and then developer, senior developer, tech lead, architect, and then I moved into freelancing role as well. So this is like my quick intro. Um, yeah, maybe we'll wait for a few more minutes just to see, just to give time for other people to join. Yeah, sure, but stuff. Let's see how it goes, and let's see if it will be useful for people or not. Based on that, I can have a frequent live session. And but thanks for asking for the live session. Yeah. Okay, we'll start in 1 minute. And because this is my first live session, I thought I should introduction about yeah, I thought I can introduce myself and then the YouTube channel and the reason for creating the channel and things like that. Yeah, sure, Archana. I'll share some insights on the infrastructure migration because I think this is a very important topic in the coming days because most of the people whom I see are trying to move either away from AWS because of the tie-up with the the retail client. So yeah, we'll talk about this. Also, like I've recently worked on a project to migrate from Google Cloud to Azure. So we'll talk about that also. Okay. Yeah, maybe like we'll start. Um, so yeah, like this is a channel which I created recently. I think like just 1 month before I started this channel, DevOps with Prasanna. The reason is to like share the DevOps knowledge which I have and see if I can help someone to get into their DevOps career or understand the concepts in a better way. So that is a primary objective. Let's see like how this channel goes. But before getting into the channel, I thought of talking about myself. So yeah, as I said, like I have like nearly 15 years of experience now, and mostly it's hands-on. Like I never gone into the managerial aspects. I try to manage a small team, but that's what my experience with respect to managerial aspects. But mostly I try to be an independent contributor or lead a small team. That's how it is. And I worked with some of the notable companies like ThoughtWorks, BCG, Oracle, and things like that. And I'm proficient in AWS, Kubernetes, Google Cloud, Terraform, most of the DevOps stack. So I work with multiple clients. So pretty much I have some good insights and working experience on all these technologies. And I'm a self-learner. So mostly like I have a way to learn things. So if there is a new concept, I have a specific way to understand the concepts and try to implement that one. Maybe like I can share about that also. All advanced. Yeah, nice, nice. That is great. I got some very good response also in the comments for my YouTube videos. So if it is helpful, then I think like I achieved my goal. So that's what I feel. Maybe there are like a lot of things to improve also. So I think in the in the further meetings, the further sessions, I think I'll try to improve on those aspects as well. And I'm a AWS certified solution architect and certified Kubernetes administrator, certified Kubernetes security specialist. And like just to give a point about the certification. So certifications are a uh, important profile booster for for anyone who wants to join a company. The primary reason is like the companies will have tie-up with the corresponding providers. For example, they could be partnered with CNCF Foundation, or they could have partnered with AWS cloud provider, which means that company should have specified number of certified professionals in their company. So if they have, for example, for CNCF, they should have 3 certified Kubernetes administrator. And if that is the case, then they'll be treated as a partner. And AWS or CNCF itself will help the company to get clients. So there is like added weightage to the certifications. So, and also I'm planning to do AWS certified solution architect professional, maybe like in month or two. So that is something which I'm preparing also. So this is like something which people should keep in mind about certification. And yeah, so yeah, about the YouTube channel. So as we discussed, like this channel is mainly to talk about DevOps and whatever the the working experience which I have, I'm planning to share that knowledge with people. So I think that is the primary objective. As long as it's helpful for people, I think I'll be sharing the knowledge. So that is the thing. And mostly I'm planning to have some kind of course. So if people want to get started, they'll know like where they should start and how they should proceed to the advanced level. So that is the idea. Cool. And the first course which I'm doing is on the AWS beginner series. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Shivkumar. Yeah, I saw your comment also. So thanks for the support. And also like mostly I'll try to do hands-on in each and every session. The reason for the hands-on session is like that's where like people can go and do it by themselves. So that is a primary objective. But I'm not sure if I could able to achieve that or not, because sometimes I could overlook certain concepts. So if that is the case, please feel free to mention that in the comment. I'll try to slow down my pace, or I'll try to be more elaborate on the topics. Yeah. Thanks, Menaga. Yeah. Thank you. And this is the primary objective of YouTube channel. So this is one thing which I want to mention. And maybe like quickly, I thought of discussing about certain topics, like why you should have personal branding, and then about the freelancing aspects, and how the DevOps is shaping into place. So maybe like first I'll start with the social media presence. So I'm active in Twitter, LinkedIn, GitHub, and then YouTube. So YouTube I recently started, and the Twitter I was active for past 1 year. The reason I was mentioning about this social media presence is, I think with AI taking control of the coding aspects, or like making the coding to be like available for everyone. I think in that case, that should be like something extra to distinguish yourself. I think that extra piece is a social media presence. That's what I feel. For example, if there are two persons who's at the same skill set level, but one person is active in social media, meaning like they are actively posting their content, and then they could able to showcase their consistency and curiosity. If they can do that, I think even though the two people are the same skill set, I think the person with social media presence will easily get clients or easily get job. I think I could able to see that with my context also. So after I started becoming active in Twitter, I got a lot more clients, and getting a job is not that difficult for me now. And also like I'm doing freelancing most of the time, so I'm not tied up with any company. And I could able to do that confidently because of the social media presence and the friend circle which I have in the social media. I think those are the critical aspects. And maybe like for anyone who wants to get into IT career or get into freelancing world, try to be active in social media. So that's what I feel. That is like one important piece, networking. So try to get in touch with top contributors, try to add value to their post. So it's not just like liking or things like that. You should make sure like they could able to see you. That is the most important aspect. And you'll know like the opportunities will find you. I think that is a way to get job in 2024. That's my strong feeling. Not using Naupri or Monster or things like that. Yeah, Shankar. Yeah, thank you. Sure. Like Kubernetes and containers are the next topic which I'm planning to do. The main reason is like I want to do some advanced courses in Kubernetes, mainly to get into the open source contribution of Kubernetes aspects as well, because that is something which I'm planning to do. So I thought I can talk about the open source contribution in Kubernetes, and then showcase to people also on how to do those things. Sure, Shankar. There is one more question about how to get a job in DevOps after 6 years gap. I think 6 years gap. What I feel is like how fast you can learn the things, and maybe like 6 years gap is nothing. That's what I feel. Like for example, the first 10 years of my career, I was a developer. So I think like I did nothing with DevOps, but after that I became a DevOps engineer, and I could able to get clients, get job in DevOps world, and then get freelancing clients in DevOps. So the bottom line here is you should have a proper networking, which means you should connect with the right people. And LinkedIn is a best source for to get jobs nowadays. So try to be active in LinkedIn and maintain the consistency. That's what it is. Like the 6 years gap is nothing if you can be consistent for just 2 months. So if you can write a LinkedIn post like once in every 3 days, and you can be like spend just 30 to 40 minutes in LinkedIn, that would be sufficient for networking. But the other aspect is the open source side of things. Try to get into open source. Maybe like you don't need to contribute, but try to read the code. Also, like try to understand the concepts. That is the most important thing. For example, if someone asks you how Jenkins works, you should be able to explain to them how Jenkins works or how Kubernetes works, or why you should go for AWS or why you should not go for AWS. I think these aspects are more important um, than thinking about gaps. That's what I feel. Yeah, like definitely like try to network with proper people and show your consistency and your curiosity to learn. I think like definitely you'll get a job. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Gautam. Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Karthi. Thanks a lot. Okay, cool. Um, okay, what does AWS do in freelance? Any example? I think, Vatsa, your question is what freelancing work you can do with AWS? I assume like that's the question. So AWS alone will not be sufficient. That's what I feel. I'll say the reason for that. For example, if you want to be a DevOps engineer or DevOps freelance engineer, you should know how to set up the entire pipeline. Like for example, if you are going to do freelancing work for a startup, you should be able to own up the DevOps work. Or if you're going to be a part of a DevOps team, you should understand different concepts available in DevOps. For example, you should know CI/CD, like how to set up continuous integration, continuous deployment. And definitely like AWS or any major cloud provider, AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. You should be proficient with any of these cloud providers because I think like 90% of the company is in cloud nowadays. It is on-premise is becoming like very rare unless otherwise there is some compliance or some like military or medical apps. That is only it's there in the on-premise. Everything is in cloud now. So like understanding that cloud provider, understanding CI/CD, understanding about infrastructure, those are the critical aspects. I think like all this combined together, and if you can showcase that knowledge, that's when like you can confidently say like you can become a freelancer. And mostly the freelance work would be something like either you'll get a fixed bid project, something like you have to set up the entire infrastructure for a company in specific amount of time. Let's say like in 2 months time, you have to set up the whole pipeline and do everything. That is like one type of job. The other type of job is to become a part of their team. So it's like a long term project. So you can become the part of their team. You can become part of their like you can become part of the agile stand-ups and discussions and contribute to the day two operations. That's what people will call as day two operation, meaning like day zero operation is setting up the core infrastructure, setting up the missions and things like that. Sorry, it just didn't remember. Okay, so that is a concept like day zero, day one, day two operation. Day zero operation is like setting up the fundamentals. You should have the infrastructure, missions, and as I mentioned, the CI/CD and things like that. And day one operation is okay. Like day one would be like in CI/CD, meaning once your application is being developed, you should able to support the application deployment. Meaning like when as and when the developers like complete their functionality, they should be able to put it in an environment. So that is day one operation. Day two operation is the maintenance operation. You should make sure the production is always be available. And if there are like any sort of migration, you should be able to do that one. So all those are day two operation. So you should be familiar with day zero, day one, day two operation. and that's when like you can get into the freelancing world. So yeah. Yeah, so like that's like something which I want to discuss about the freelancing aspects. um, and how to start learn about DevOps. Yeah, so I think like the best way to do like learn DevOps is to do the things. For example, you should be you should have a very good hands-on experience. That is a catch here. Like as I mentioned previously, try to network with people in LinkedIn, in YouTube, in Twitter, and see like what people are talking about. What is the current technology trend? And that's when like you can pick up the tools and things like that. But I feel the fundamentals are the most important things. Fundamental in the sense, uh, try to understand the basics about cloud provider. Try to understand the shell scripting. Try to understand the Linux operating system. Maybe like there is a roadmap always. So if you can able to see the DevOps roadmap, this is what the high level picture would be. Like there are like various segments in the sense you should, for example, scripting knowledge is a segment, CACD is a segment, containers is a segment. So you can pick up those segments and try to pick a specific tool in that segment, tool or technology in that segment, and start learning about that. And also, like I would say, don't just learn. Like just learning is totally waste. Try to showcase that to the outside world. So maybe like write a post about what you learned today, or like create a quick short demo and post it in the place where people will see. So that's how like you can start learning about DevOps. Maybe like check the DevOps roadmap, and um, and you might get good understanding of like how to start learning the different segments. Okay, and there is one more question about cloud engineering and DevOps. So yeah, like I'm not very familiar with these terms like cloud engineer or DevOps engineer. Maybe like AI ML ops engineer, like that is like a very clear segregation. But what I feel is there is something called cloud native. So maybe like I'll also actually refer to these things. But maybe like I'll talk about what is maybe cloud native, and I think that's what you mean by cloud engineering, I guess. So like there is a specific foundation for cloud now, cloud native computing foundation, which means it is a cloud first approach. So what is meant by cloud first approach is like when you start building your apps, you should think about cloud first, and then your app should cater to the cloud technologies, and that's how the thing should be. Because the advantage with cloud is like you can scale easily, you can downscale easily or upscale easily. All those scaling aspects will be taken care of. All the security, compliance, everything is taken care by a specific people. And the down and the high availability mode or the disaster recovery is much more simpler with cloud. So I think like which we should learn. I would say like if you are completely a beginner to DevOps, I would say like start with the fundamental stuff. Like maybe like you can pick up cloud also, like can pick up AWS, but try to like expand your knowledge on the things. For example, if you are picking up AWS, let's assume like you learned about creating EC2 instance, which is a virtual machine. Like creating a bare virtual machine is nothing. So you should have some kind of software in it. And when you're going to install the software, like learn about the different aspects to it, like how you'll install a software. Like maybe I'll just give an example. Like you can install a software just by SSH into the machine and just doing some kind of package manager like apt or yum or whatever it is. You can install a software. That is like one way. The other way is to have some kind of configuration management tool. Like you can have Ansible, Chef, or Puppet, and then you can provision the machine without uh, doing SSH into that machine. So this kind of configuration management tool, you can learn about that. And the next step to that is like you can learn about the containers and see how we can use a virtual machine as one of the node in your cluster and deploy apps to it. So that is like a next level to it. So like this is how I would recommend start learning. Like try to get into a hands-on demo and then slowly expand your knowledge in other areas. That's what I feel. Um, Start with scripting. Yeah, you can. Scripting is like a programming language, so I think I definitely recommend that one, Abhi, because it's very easy to learn about the programming languages. Like you can try it out. You can create one bare machine, or you can do it in your local also. But don't stop with scripting alone, because it is like in a bigger picture. This is a very tiny portion, so you should understand the bigger picture as well. So, but try to start learning with the scripting, but slowly try to progress to other areas also. Yeah. Manoj, I think that's a very good question. What is the best way to have different routings based on traffic in AWS? For example, if you want to have 3 different API endpoints based on user location, so it can call the endpoint near user. What a wow! This is a very very good question. Yeah, because Route 53 has lot of routing policy. So like it'll have the nearest routing policy based on like these things will be in the Route 53 policy itself. So but maybe like we can discuss about this in detail, Manoj, like what's your requirement is. But I think you should look into the routing policies of Route 53. That's what I feel. And like if we want to have 3 different API endpoints based on user location, so it can call a endpoint near user. Maybe like I've done this in the past. It's using something like cloud, um, like the edge locations. Like you can use what is that? It's not CloudFront. Like recently I posted a video on CloudFront, but this is like definitely you can use some kind of edge optimized like service. For example, if you have CloudFront, you can have edge optimized resource there. Like it can serve the static resource, or you can do the edge computation also. I forget the name. Maybe like yeah, I should recollect. That is something which I use often. Cloudflare, got it, man. So like I use Cloudflare workers to have a location based routing. So that is something which you can try. But I think like this is a very specific requirement. Like we'll talk about this in detail. What is the difference between DevOps SRE platform? I think like this is one thing which is like very straightforward. DevOps engineer is someone like, for example, who will maintain the infrastructure. So, for example, like who will create the infrastructure and who will set up the CI/CD pipelines and who will set up the monitoring and things like that. But that is like a slightly nuanced concept called SRE. It was introduced by Google because like they were using this kind of concepts in for their own infrastructure. So basically, like there is something called as SLA and SLO. So service level agreement and service level objective. So for example, like in the like when you're going to provide a service to your clients, you'll define some kind of objectives. For example, if you see AWS, they'll say like S3 will be available for 99.99%. That is called as the objective. So which means they'll design the system in such a way that it is available for 99.99%. Okay, so how they achieve that one is using the SRE methodologies, and the SRE people will be taking care of doing those things, which means like active, proactive monitoring, and then making sure like the HA is available in all the places. And like there are a few other concepts as well, like doing the postmortem. So like these things will, if there is any issues, the postmortem report will be created. That will make sure like it will not be happening the next time. So these are the concepts basically, and how we can achieve this using like various technologies. Like I've used Datadog primarily to do the SRE work. And platform engineer, like platform engineering is becoming like a popular in recent days. Mostly the primary reason is they'll enable the developers to own their infrastructure. For example, like the platform engineering team is the one who will create the fundamentals of any application. For example, your application needs computing power, which means there should be a way to define your computing power. So you can say something like, I need 10 cores and 20 GB of memory. So you can define all these requirements, and the platform engineering team will give you the capability to configure this by yourself. So that's what the platform engineering team is. And there are like a lot of good tools for a platform. Basically, like that is the foundational. It focuses more on the foundational aspects, which will have the internal tools for your different teams to use. So you'll have the full control, but you'll enable the teams to like specify their requirements for themselves. So that is the objective of platform engineering. So these are like three different roles primarily. Like DevOps is a different role, SRE is a different role, platform engineering is a different role. But if you are going to work for a startup company, all these three things will be like taken care by one person. So like in a well-established company, people are now having a different teams for each and every category. Okay, yeah, hope I answered that one, Gautam. How much knowledge should a 1.5 years DevOps engineer have? I think that is based on your experience. So see, like even if you have 10 years experience as a DevOps engineer, you will not say like you understood everything. So that's my take, because like the tools are getting changed often, and there are like a lot of technologies, lot of concepts being introduced. So I think it's not about how much knowledge you should have. I think it's about how depth knowledge you have in the tools which you worked on. So for example, if you have worked on like for example Route 53 in this case, like how much like how well you can explain that one, or if for example if there is a similar situation again, like how you can reuse this concept to apply that situation. I think like that is more important than covering the breadth, like the breadth of the knowledge, because I think with 1.5 years of DevOps engineer, it is very difficult to cover all the aspects of DevOps. But whatever aspects which you have worked on, I think you should be very comfortable in, and you should be able to explain that. And also maybe you should have a way to learn new concepts as well. So whenever there is a new paradigm like AIOps is being introduced, you should know like how to learn that, how to apply that. I think those meta information are very critical compared to the actual knowledge you have. That's what I feel. As a cloud DevOps engineer, how much networking knowledge should we have? I think networking is like is a very important thing. So yeah, I think maybe I'll answer both the questions. Suman the questions and Yash question. Like you should be very strong in fundamentals. That's what I feel. So like a lot of things can change. Like AI can be introduced, ML can be like there, the big data can be there, Web3 can be there, but this networking will never change. So you should know like how to configure your private subnet, public subnet, and you should have very good understanding of OS, and you should know like how the DNS works and what are the tools you will use to debug the DNS issue. I think these kind of knowledge is really important, and this is what going to help you in case of like debugging the production issues. So one distinguishing factor between a person who understands the fundamentals and the person who doesn't understand fundamental is the debugging aspect. So for example, when you are in a production issue, I think like whoever can debug the issue and find the root cause, they'll be having a lot more value in the company. So that is something which I've seen in all the companies which I've worked on. So having this fundamental knowledge is really important to shine in any company or in your career. That's what I feel, yes. So networking knowledge is a must. Yeah, and the same applies for Linux and shell scripting. So you asked the right question. So if I can summarize this, fundamentals are more important, and then on top of the fundamentals, you can learn about other things as well. So that's what it is. Okay, I think so initially I planned for only 30 minutes. I thought no one will join. So but thanks for asking a lot of valuable questions. And yeah, like I'm planning to have frequent catch-ups with you, basically to understand like what are things I should improve on in the YouTube channel, and to have a better understanding of like whether I'm providing value or not. So that is a primary objective. Um, there is one more question from Sayatan. Can you please share your inputs in creating CI/CD pipeline using GitHub Actions and deploying an application in on EC2 instance? Yeah, I think you try to mention everything. So this is maybe like I'm planning to have one more session in the AWS series now. Mostly like after completing the serverless, I'm planning to have a CI/CD session. See, you mentioned about all the technologies. So like there is a GitHub Actions. There is a EC2 instance to which you can deploy, and you might know like what is the application you're going to use, what is the framework you're going to use, and things like that. But the catch here is like how your CI/CD pipeline is going to be. What are the stages you're going to set up? I think that is the most important thing. For example, whether you're going to have a static checking in your CI/CD pipeline or not. Static checking in the sense, some kind of linter checking, which will check your code statically, whether it conforms to the coding standards or not. All those things can be checked. Whether you're going to add this or not, that is the important aspect. Whether you're going to have any kind of security check, you're going to scan for a security vulnerability in your libraries or not, that is going to be an important step. So I think these steps are important, and how to do that, you can easily get it from the Google itself. And GitHub is having like a very good documentation to show you how to do those things. Cool. So DevOps engineer, cloud engineer are different roles. Yeah, I'm not very sure about this one, Suman. To be frank, I worked as a DevOps engineer, SRE, but I've never worked as a cloud engineer because maybe from my perspective, like in all the companies which I worked on, everything is in cloud, so nothing is in my local. Maybe I'm not sure. Like I think I should also like read about this concept, and maybe in the next session we can discuss about DevOps engineer versus cloud engineer. I'm seeing like a lot of topics on that recently. Like what is DevOps engineer, what is cloud engineer? Maybe like I think I'm a cloud engineer. That's what I feel. But having the DevOps knowledge, that's how I'm feeling. But yeah, like maybe in the next session or in the post, I'll try to explain this. Cool. Okay, I think this is great. Mostly, I think this is what I want to cover. There is like one more slide which I prepared, but I think like this will not be like relevant now because most of our topics which I already mentioned. Maybe I think I'll just try to cover one point here before we wrap up. If you see my career, I work for different companies. He says Oracle, Pramati, ThoughtWorks. But let me say you there are like only few companies where I made the contacts. So contacts in the sense, like even now I'm getting for most of the clients which I worked on, they are either from ThoughtWorks or from Pramati. So the people who worked with me, they joined some other company, and it seems like there was a need for a DevOps role there, and they referred me to set up the infrastructure. So that's how it is. So there are like many benefits in working for a company. That's what I want to mention. The most important thing is like the contacts which you'll get. So I think try to make really good contacts and network with people. That will help you a lot in your career. So like freelancing has a lot of advantage. For example, for the last 2 months, I was on a career break, and this is where I could able to try my things with the YouTube channel and things like that. So I could able to experiment with multiple things because I have the flexibility to take a break in my career because I was doing freelancing. But having a job has other advantages. For example, in my initial career, I was part of a company, and that gave me the salary. I think salary is like very minimal, but the networking and the contacts which I have, those are the most important things. So that is something which I want to say from this side. So if you're working for a company, try to make like good relationship with people, and try to be like curious, and show your consistency in all the places. That's the main thing. Okay, I think cool. So maybe like I'll just answer this one last question, and then we can wrap up. Yash, as a fresher, can someone join TopTal? Okay, so yeah, I think TopTal is becoming relatively difficult nowadays. So the reason Yash asked this question is I'm a freelance engineer in TopTal. So TopTal is a freelancing platform, and it is very difficult to get into TopTal because of the recruitment process. It is like a 1 month recruitment process. Maybe sometime I'll try to create a video around the TopTal recruitment and things like that. But to answer your question, Yash, I think it will be slightly difficult, and also it's based on your location as well. So I think if you are from India and if you want to get into TopTal as a fresher, I think it's slightly different, Yash. But you can get into a company and then like gain experience in various aspects. I think the company, like joining a company, is good for a fresher. That's what I feel. Like compared to freelancing, maybe like I'll not say like all the freshers should be joining a company only. If you have the confidence and if you have the passion to do freelancing, definitely you should go for freelancing. That is the thing. But if you want to learn from your peers, I think company is the best option, because as a fresher, you'll get to know like how your seniors think, and you'll have a safety net. Definitely, like you are going to get very less salary compared to freelancing, but I think in the initial days of your career, you should not worry about salary. That's what I think. After 5 years, if you are like having a solid job career, then your growth will be like exponential. That's what I experience also. So maybe like you can try to join some good companies where there are like really good people, and try to network, try to learn from your seniors, and then like someday like you'll get the confidence, and like you'll start doing freelancing. Cool. Okay, guys. So I thought like I just want to catch up with you. Cool. So like we'll meet up on the sessions again. I'll announce about the future live sessions, and I'll try to create videos. And please share your thoughts in your comments on how it is, how useful it is, or what are the things I should change in the sessions. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot for joining. Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye. Happy learning.